Alright guys, this is going to be a speed video because I'm going to try and get this done before the bell rings in 7.5 minutes. So last section of chapter 3, graphing absolute value functions. Okay, and let's get to it. So we described how one line can be shifted to result in a second line. You can use a similar method to graph absolute value functions. Okay, an absolute value function has a V shape. Okay, and the equation looks like this. Y equals absolute value of x. That's the parent function. Remember, the parent function is the simplest function of that type. Okay, so this says below are the graphs of y equals absolute value of x and y equals absolute value of x minus 2. How are the graphs related? Wow, it's a struggle today. Sorry. Anyway, you can see they're both V-shaped. Okay, but this y equals absolute value of x minus 2 is shifted. So here we call that the vertex. It's the corner point. It's at the origin. Here your vertex is down 2 from the origin. So when you have this minus 2 on the outside right here, it just takes everything and it shifts it down 2. Okay? If it was plus, it would shift it up 2. Okay, we call those a vertical translation, vertical shift. All right, next. Okay, so how is this graph related to the graph of y equals absolute value of x? Okay, so this one has been shifted up, so our vertex is at 0, that's where we always start. This one has been shifted up 1, 2, 3, 4. So it's shifted up 4. That's the translation. And if you were to write that equation, if you haven't figured this out, it would be absolute value of x. It's going up 4, so that's going to be a plus 4. Okay, what are the domain and range in problem? Let's just do this problem right here, problem A. The domain is all the x values. So whenever you go left to right, there's always going to be an x value there. So your domain is negative infinity to positive infinity. Now your range, if you take a line and you go from the bottom to the top, you're not going to hit that red graph until this point right here. So your range starts at 4, and then it goes up forever. So 4 to infinity. We use a bracket right there because it actually touches 4. And it approaches infinity. Domain and range. Okay. So the graph of y equals absolute value of x plus k is a translation. If k is a positive number, it goes up. If k is a negative number, it goes down. So what is the graph of y equals absolute value of x plus 2? Well, y equals absolute value of x looks like this. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3. So we start at 0, 0. Goes up 1 over 1. Make this V shape. So basically, it's like a slope of 1 here. And same slope over here, just negative. So there's your original graph. Now when you shift it up 2, everything goes up 2. So this goes up 2. So we start here. This point goes up 2. This point right here goes up 2, and it looks like this. Again, without the squigglies and whatnot. Okay, so you're just shifting it up 2. That's a vertical translation. Okay, so try this one. What is the graph of y equals absolute value of x minus 7? Go ahead, pause this in 3, 2, 1, pause. Alright, so it should look something like this. Even though it's a minus 7, your v is still going up. Okay, it's just everything's been shifted down 7. So your vertex is right here at 0, negative 7. Okay, so you're just shifting everything down 7 now. Alright, next. If you know the direction of the translation and the number of units, you can write the equation. So this one you don't even need the graph really. It says, what is the equation for each translation of y equals absolute value of x, like this. So if we're going 11 up, we just add 11 to it. So y equals absolute value of x plus 11. 14 down, y equals absolute value of x minus 14. Now notice that the plus 11 and the minus 14 are outside of the absolute value signs. So don't put them inside because that's going to do something different. And we will talk about that right now, I think. Okay, so after you try this, ready to try these in 3, 2, 1, pause. Alright, so the first one should be absolute value of x plus 8. Second one, absolute value of x minus 5. Okay, again, you always have a y and an x, so don't try to change that x to an 8 or a 5 or anything like that. Don't do any funky things like that. Okay, so what happens when we shift it horizontally? Okay, we talked about a vertical translation. Now a horizontal translation, that's when you change the inside. Okay, so this one right here is the graph of y equals absolute value of x plus 2 inside the parentheses. So notice that it's a plus 2 and it moved left 2. Okay, so your vertex is now at negative 2. So it's kind of the opposite of what you'd think. But you can remember that if you plug in negative 2 for x, negative 2 plus 2, it comes out to be 0. So when you're at -2, you should be at 0. Okay, and this one the same thing, it's moving right 2, so it's going to be a -2. So if I plug in 2 for x, 2 minus 2 is 0. Okay, so with the inside transformations, it's horizontal, and it's always opposite. So if it's x plus h, it shifts it to the left. If it's x minus h, it shifts it to the right. Okay, so, and those are both inside of your absolute value pieces. So this one is a +5, so that means it's going to go left 5. Okay, so I have my graph here. It's going to go back 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so my vertex is going to be here. 1. It's going to go up like this. Okay, and it's always opposite, because if I plug in -5, I get 0. So I go back 5. Okay. So let's go to the next one. Okay, so you can try this one. It's y equals absolute value of x minus 5. So this one is it's a minus, so it's gonna go to the right 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Okay, so that's gonna be your vertex. Again, it's still going up. Okay, it should look something like that. So if it's minus, it's going right. If it's plus, it's going to the left. Okay, what is an equation for each transformation or each translation? Okay, so this is 9 right. So right is going to be a minus. Left is going to be a plus. So this one's going to be, and these are both inside, remember. If it's horizontal, left or right, it goes inside with the x. So that's going to be x minus 9 on the inside. This is going to be x plus 4 on the inside. So if it's inside, it's a horizontal translation. If it's on the outside, like this, y equals absolute value of x minus 9, like that, that's a vertical. So that one's going down 9. Oh, crap. This one's going right 9. Okay, we were so close to getting that done in 7.5 minutes. Okay, anyway, last one. You can pause this in 3, 2, 1. Pause. Alright, so you should have got, for the first one, y equals absolute value of x minus 8. Again, it's inside. The second one, y equals absolute value of x plus 6.
Hey, thanks for watching. I'll see you later.
Remember to take your quiz. Okay, bye.